Stanley is the southernmost capital city in the world and one of the smallest. Port Stanley is properly the name of the area of water in front of the city, not the city itself. This is one of the windiest places on Earth. The original mizzenmast of the SS Great Britain. Christchurch Cathedral with its famous whalebone arch. And St. Mary's Catholic Church. Jubilee Villas. Michelle's Cafe for lunch. During the 1982 war, the British Army managed to get a message through to this phone from Fitzroy. There's obviously some trouble with antisocial behaviour in Stanley. And here are the do-it-yourself ASBOs. We took a tour in a rickety old bus to see some of the sights of the 1982 war. This is the small settlement of Fitzroy. It was near here that the troop ships Sir Galahad and Sir Tristram were hit by Argentine Air Force fire. Several memorials have been created, some of them private and some of them public. This is the memorial to the Welsh Guards who suffered heavy losses when the Sir Galahad was sunk. And this is the memorial to the Royal Fleet Auxiliary, who of course manned the troop ships. And just by way of light relief, our bus broke down and needed a local tractor to come and pull it out. These stone runs are an interesting geological feature of the Falkland Islands. Our first sight of Antarctica proper is King George Island, with its attendant icebergs. This is Admiralty Bay. The American Research Station, and the Polish Research Station. Later in the day we approach Half Moon Island, which is hidden largely by cloud and mist. But as if to order, that cloud and mist lifts as we approach. And as we sail away, the clouds and mist descend again. What good luck with the weather. Next morning, we're approaching Iceberg Alley on our way to Hope Bay. These icebergs are the remains of the Larsen ice shelf, which broke away from the continental ice sheet in 1994. The icebergs can't get any further north at the moment because the water here in Iceberg Alley is too shallow, so until they break up into smaller bergs, they're stuck here. According to our ice captain, this berg is a full mile long. The land behind these icebergs is the Trinity Peninsula, which is the northernmost part of continental Antarctica. This iceberg will soon be breaking into smaller pieces. Hope Bay, where the Argentinians have a base, Esperanza. Whole families live here and at least one child has been born on this base. The Argentinians obviously intend to be able to claim that it is fully part of Argentine territory. We saw quite a lot of this chap and named him Eric. We've no idea how he managed to climb up onto this iceberg. Penguins, of course, can't fly. Two of the ship's photographers were very intrepid, climbing to the top of the funnel in search of their art. Leaving Iceberg Alley in the late afternoon, the weather was a lot clearer than it had been during our approach in the morning, so we could see just exactly what it was that the captain had had to navigate his way through in the mist. And so Artemis steams away towards Deception Island tomorrow. First sight of Deception Island, part of the South Shetland group. Deception Island is a volcano and erupted as recently as 1969. Through that gap is the entrance to one of the safest harbours in Antarctica, in the caldera of the old volcano. For many years whaling fleets made great use of that harbour, but now the island is home only to scientific research stations. And as we leave, the Antarctic weather descends again. And as a bonus from P&O, we get to sail by Smith Island, another of the South Shetland group. After a day crossing the Drake Passage, we're now approaching Cape Horn. We're told the winds are 50 miles an hour, and relatively few of us are braving this stormy weather to see the sight. And there it is, looming through the sea mist. Apparently it's hardly ever clear down here. And of course, P&O choose this time to have the crew re-rig a mast. Cape Horn just a little bit more visible now. And we're off to the Beagle Channel to approach Ushuaia. And it's a beautiful morning in Ushuaia, on the island of Tierra del Fuego, on the coast of the Beagle Channel. We're taking a morning tour using a reconstructed steam train originally built by convicts when this was a penal colony to transport materials. Juan Perón closed the penal colony when he was president of Argentina, and it's now being redeveloped as a tourist attraction and part of the Tierra del Fuego National Park. A short stop allows us to take in some of the views. The horses aren't wild, they're owned by local farmers. When we leave the train, we have a short walk and a few minutes to spend in the national park on the edge of the Beagle Channel. We're very close to the Chilean border here, and most of these islands in the Beagle Channel belong to Chile. This claims to be the most southerly post office in the world. Tierra del Fuego is an archipelago of many islands, including the main one that we're on. 2/3 of it belongs to Chile, 1/3 to Argentina. Back in Ushuaia, the capital of the Argentinian state of Tierra del Fuego, is a thriving centre for the Antarctic cruise industry now. Borrowing tourist attractions from London, but the city seems to be thriving and is very much given over to the needs of tourists. Absolutely every Argentinian believes that the islands we call the Falklands belong to them. These lunatic street entertainers did their business by leaping out in front of the traffic when the lights were on red and having somebody going round and collecting money from the drivers. A memorial to Evita Perón outside the local headquarters of the political party that she and her husband founded. And a monument to various military heroes of Argentinian history just by the tourist market near the cruise terminal and the harbour. A look at some of our neighbours berthed on the cruise pier. Discovery was Island Princess, one of the original 2 love boats. Heading out now from Ushuaia into the Beagle Channel to continue our voyage to Punta Arenas in Chile. Our route takes us past a series of glaciers named after countries: Alemania, Francia, Hollandia. The focal point of Punta Arenas is the Plaza de Armas, and the statue in the middle of it is of Ferdinand Magellan, who discovered, if that's the correct word, the Strait of Magellan, on which Punta Arenas stands. On one corner of the square is the city's cathedral. The city's golden age ended with the opening of the Panama Canal in 1914. All those ships that didn't any longer have to round the Horn didn't have to call in here for reprovisioning either. But now tourism is making the city important again, and here we find ourselves in a very carnivorous restaurant with a gaucho-style barbecue. They even let the customers join in the fun.
Yes, very well.
Very high winds in the Strait of Magellan meant that Artemis needed a lot of extra tug power to get off the berth. This lot all seem to know what they're doing though. By late the following afternoon, we've arrived at the Amalia Glacier, which is also known as the Skua Glacier. We sent a boat out with some of the ship's photographers on, and also a team to collect some fresh ice.
We could call them on the radio and say, right, we're off now then. Catch us if you can.
Early next morning, and we've arrived at the Pius XI Glacier. This is the largest glacier in South America. It's located in the Bernardo O'Higgins National Park of Chile and is still growing every year. Two days later, further north, it's sunnier, it's warmer, and we're enjoying a cruise through the Niñuyac Channel on our way to Puerto Montt. Puerto Montt is the gateway to the Chilean Lake District. It was founded in 1853 by German immigrants encouraged by President Montt, who was then President of Chile. We decided to take a local tour from the quayside, where we shared a minibus with some of the passengers from Artemis. Although there is a lot of new investment around the waterfront, the city didn't look too inviting on our drive through. Our first stop was the small town of Puertovaras and the Church of the Sacred Heart. This is still a largely German-speaking community, and in fact a nun who was in the church did speak to me in German. How nice. The whole area is dominated by Mount Orsono, a still active volcano. Our visit continued into the national park and the Petrohue River and Falls. On to All Saints Lake, also known as Esmeralda Lake. This is a large lake and in another part forms the border with Argentina. And so it's back to Artemis for our final leg of the cruise, which takes us to Valparaiso, Santiago, and home.